I'm Carol Angela Davis. Thank you for joining me for your reality news check. It's the 15th of February, 2012. We're going to begin with our headlines as we always do. Can you imagine finding a severely malnourished teen bleeding and walking down the street? Folks, that's what happened in Madison, Wisconsin. We'll tell you about it also today. More Rupert Murdoch shenanigans. We'll tell you about that. Then the former Italian premier and his alleged dirty dealings. We'll tell you about that. Plus, news of Whitney Houston and the death investigation. And then finally, an apology from Sony. Oh, no, you didn't do this to our girl, Whitney. All right, let's begin with the stories. Okay, let's go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, folks, okay? She was severely malnourished and bleeding, and she was found walking down the street barefoot outside in pajamas in Wisconsin in February. Poor little thing, all right? She had a gash on her face and was crying. That was the state of a 15-year-old young girl who police say a man mistook for an 8-year-old child. That's how malnourished she was, okay? Folks, the poor little darlings apparently told the man that her stepmother had thrown her down the basement stairs, you heard me correctly, and that she escaped through a window. Folks, you should see her parents. Okay, she also said her parents starved her and even forced her to eat her own feces and then confined her in the basement for years. Folks, you should see her parents. Trust me, they starved her not for lack of food, because the mother clearly had missed a meal, okay? It's a disgrace. Fortunately, the police are involved, okay? In other scandalous news, folks, looking at Rupert Murdoch, there is more trouble there in terms of paying off public officials for information tips, folks. Apparently, an investigation now appears to indicate that scandal into Murdoch's newspaper now indicates, and I'm going to quote, serious suspected criminality over a sustained period, unquote. And then I'll quote again, it involves regular cash payments totaling tens of thousands of pounds a year for several years to public officials, some of whom were on retainer, to provide information. In totality, it involves a six-figure sum, unquote. Yikes, okay? Already, as you know, officers have arrested 9 former and current senior staff in recent weeks over these illegal payments. And, of course, as you know, the scandal has forced the closure of the News of the World newspaper. Turning to some international crime news from Milan, Italian prosecutors want a 5-year prison term for former Premier Silvio Burlusconi. He's being tried, as you know, on corruption charges, and prosecutors say he paid a British lawyer $600,000 to lie. Okay, and he was the former premier. Can you believe this? In other trials involving charges of tax evasion and false accounting, all the charges, as you know, related to the billionaire. He's a media mogul, a billionaire, folks, and he's also the former premier, as we said, of Italy, all related to his business dealings. Now, this is only one of several cases against him in the Milan courts. The other charges include a trial on charges of having paid for sex with an underage prostitute. What a scumbag. And to think that he was, oh, poor Italy. I know they're so glad to get rid of him. All right, and let's turn to the death of Whitney Houston, the mega songstress that I don't know if there's a person on this earth who didn't love her music. Investigators trying now to determine if prescription drugs found in her hotel room were involved in her death. So towards that goal, they're going to hand out some subpoenas to doctors and to pharmacies. Now, they're not going after the doctors or the pharmacies, just the documents. Apparently, this is what they usually do, and they have to count the tablet that in each bottle or container or whatever they were in that they found and compare that against the date of the prescription to see if Whitney was taking the correct dosage. Now, already, as you know, officials have already said that the amount of drugs found in Whitney Houston's hotel room do not seem unusually large, okay? And moving on to our final story of the day in business news and also related to Whitney Houston, an apology to Whitney Houston, her family, and her fans from Sony, folks. That record label increasing the price of 2 Whitney Houston albums in the UK just hours after she died. No, you didn't, okay? We're talking here about Houston's Ultimate Collection and her greatest hits. Sony raising the price by about £3 each. That's a lot of money. Of course, that caused an automatic price increase on iTunes. Houston fans, of course, they went after Sony with a vengeance, taking to Twitter and describing that price hike as greedy and shameful, which, of course, it was. Now, of course, Sony taking all that back, which as they should. Now, get this about Whitney, our girl Whitney. So many of her songs have sold since her death that several are on course to re-enter the UK singles top 40. Can you believe that? With a greatest hits compilation heading for the top 10. Wow, it's just amazing that she could have had, just that talent was just so just so incredible. And of course we wish her well. Her funeral, of course, her family well. Her funeral this week, and her daughter, our hearts and prayers and thoughts certainly go out to you more than anyone, because we know it must be difficult to lose your mom at such a young age. But we all love her, and we wish, of course, the family the best. Have a great day. I'll see you on Friday with the next installation of the broadcast. I'm Carol Angela Davis. Follow me on Twitter, if you will, at Carol Angela D. Have a good day.